Welcome back to the Scotch Podcast. This is episode 20, and we are joined by Mr. Driver, who actually, he is the principal, but, his main job is being the coach for the volleyball B girls team. So, also, I'm still upset with you for this morning for making us do push-ups. Very rude. And we're also joined by Miss Grave.
Hi.
Who has found the cat's book.
It's a program.
Yeah.
If anyone wants me to sing during this pod, I'm ready.
I think we need that.
You never know.
Okay. And I'm Kaylin. Hi, I'm new. So, yeah.
I'm the new girl.
I'm the new girl. New girl in town. So, Mr. Driver, what is your favourite thing about Scotch?
I like the fact that all the plants are real. I've got a real thing about indoor plants being plastic plants and not real. And I love the fact that we're in a place where it's got a really cool environment. And I think that's a really sort of cool little metaphor for us as a school in lots of ways. That there's a school that's got lots of life around it. It's a school that's vibrant. And it's a school that's really authentic about the way that we do stuff here. And that's a really exciting place to be.
Yeah, okay. And Miss Grave, how does Scotch compare to the school that you went to as a student?
Oh, wow. I went to a school in Victoria, a private girls' school for 13 years. I was one of the lifers. Great school, Toorak College on the Mornington Peninsula, but all girls, so very different. I still find boys loud and scary and unusual because I wasn't used to them as a student. But in terms of the values, possibly quite similar. Committed to excellence, outward looking, globally connected. So lots of similarities, but very, very different. But sandstone buildings and gates and ribbons and blazers and all of that.
Yeah. Mr. Driver, what do you find most special about Scotch?
Oh, you want that? It's one of those things, I think, sometimes where do you want the whole list or just the top 10?
Probably top 10.
Yeah, look, I think this is a place where everyone can sort of pretty much work out how they can do the things that they really want to do and take the opportunities to do the stuff that they really want to do. And then there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes on where they get the chance to do stuff that they haven't yet worked it out. And I sort of feel really fortunate because I've got this sort of magical key that lets me into anywhere around the school. So I can sit cross-legged in a sandpit in the ELC and play trucks and have phone calls with people behind timber walls. And I can wander in and out of Year 12 classes and watch students doing stuff that they never thought that they would get a chance to do. And I think that plays out every day. And it's great fun to watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It'd be fun to sit in a sandpit, just answer all your business calls, just like...
Yeah, so he's not there anymore, but Harvey, who's now in reception, every time I'd walk past the gate, he'd call me and I'd go over, and there's there's two chairs with a piece of plywood in between them, and there's two old school phones still on cords. And so Harvey would sit on one side and Harvey and I would talk on the phone to each other for 5 or 10 minutes every time.
Solving the problems of the world.
Fabulous stuff. And if you haven't done a marble run for a while, like you haven't built a marble run, with the ramps and the little magnetic plates and stuff, that is something that's well worthwhile spending 20 minutes doing one day. I love going down there when the marble runs out.
Okay.
She'll think about
it. What plans do you have for Scotch next year?
Next year or this year? Or any year? Let's go with next year. 2025. It's looking good already. Oh, look, I think for me, at a high level, we're about to launch our new Strat Intent, which sounds probably pretty boring to you, but that sort of sets the direction as a school for what we're going to do. And from that, we are going to take Mr. Driver's magic key and unlock all these new fantastic magical doors. That's an interesting analogy, actually, isn't it? But it's sort of, we've got this opportunity now to sort of, we're through COVID, we've built this amazing building, and now where do we go next? And is that going to look like more global engagement or or new and different subjects, or all the things. And I think what we're keen to do is speak to you guys more. You know, if you had to say, you're in year 10, what's the one thing you would love between now and when you finish year 12? And I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, no.
But do you know what I mean? It's actually important that you have some input at the table as well, because it's not our school, it's our school, if that makes sense. And you might have this greatest idea and we go, actually, that's awesome, let's try and do that.
I think we're really conscious that, you know, in 100 years' time, someone's going to pull open this big book, or it might not even be a book anymore, or it might not even be a tablet. Who knows what it's going to look like? And it's going to be about the story of the school over the past couple of 100 years. And, you know, we might feel like now, when we're here, you know, it's the most important thing in the universe. But I suppose in 100 years' time, it might be a paragraph in a book, you know, over the 5 years or 10 years or however long Miss Grave and I are going to be here. And so we're really conscious that we want to be the people that can also leave this place better than we found it, but then hand it over to someone so it's got lots of continuity. And I think about a lot of the conversation we're having at the minute about AI and the impact that might have on schools. And we're sort of wondering, you know, how's that going to impact on how we learn and what we learn and the things that we do and the way that we as a school operate. You know, is it going to mean that in 20 years' time you're going to sit in a classroom with other people? Or is everybody going to have their own personal individual AI tutors, or are we going to be working half in class? Who's to know? But you know, these are things that we're currently thinking about. These are things that we're asking questions about, and not because we want to make change for the sake of change, but because it's important for us always to make sure that we're worried about the things that are happening tomorrow, in terms of the things that we're doing today.
What was your most memorable Scotch moment from your first year at Scotch, Mr. Driver?
It would probably involve the pool, but I fell in at one point in time and I was fully clothed. But look, I think...
still haven't seen that. I would still love to see that.
Yeah.
Warren King may be the person to reveal that footage.
It's being held for ransom.
I suppose my most memorable moments were, I think, the things where the whole school came together. So I really love to see the spirit and the excitement and the fun on Founders Day, on the first swimming carnivals that I got to go to, the first athletics days. Like they were ridiculous fun. Like there is something, you know, I came from a different style of school before I was here, and it was a very buttoned down school, and it was a school where formality was really important. And for me to walk from Torrance Park House down through the pavilion onto the Oval, and then watch a 100-metre event where half the runners were dressed up as bananas, that said enormous things to me. That was an amazingly fun day, and so those are memories that live, you know, very, very strongly in my mind.
While you were talking, I was thinking of two things. Founders Day, I think, is really important, and I remember that strongly. And we all had the foundation sausage celebration. I believe Mr. Disher coined that term, because I think for me the tradition part is really important as well. I love the fun and the games, and I'm as happy as the next person to be playful. But I tell you, every single time I stand in the foyer, Mr. Driver's there, and we call imposition for the start of assembly, and those bagpipes start, and Mr. Driver heads off, and then I follow him. I get I actually get quite teary every single time it happens, because I think I'm part of something here that's pretty special, and not everyone gets to do this, and I find that a privilege. So I love that. But the other thing is sort of silly, I suppose, and I think you were involved in this. Were you involved in the great monorail discussion of how do we get from Purruna down to the chapel? Yes. One afternoon, I think it was after the Easter service, there was a group of students who said, Mrs. Grave, we just think it's ridiculous about how far it takes to walk to Purruna. I mean, seriously, come on, guys. And then there was we need a slip and slide, it's a monorail, it's a train, we need segways, and I just thought, I love the fact that we're having this playful conversation, but actually maybe there's something in it. And, you know, I think that's the thing about Scotch is sometimes we swim around in funny, playful things, but we're not afraid to go, well, hang on, maybe we should actually do something different.
Yeah.
Did you get the design drawings from the Year 12 engineering students?
No, I didn't.
So Mr. McMillan, Sam McMillan, who's our Chief Operating Officer, he looks after a lot of the infrastructure around the place. he gets this letter and these drawings from 2 Year 12 students
Love it.
who wanted to put a zip line in that ran from the top corner of Purruna all the way down to Web Science. And they'd
cool.
done the drawings, they'd done the calcs, they'd done a whole lot, and they sort of said, look, you know, it takes too long to get down, so a zip line would
Yeah.
just be amazing. And I thought that was very, very cool. It didn't solve the big problem because it's not coming down that's the hard thing, it's the walking up
Yeah,
the hill.
that's actually so fair.
You know, like you get up there, particularly on a hot day, you get a bit sweaty and stuff, and
Yep.
you're a bit puffed once you get to the top of the stairs and you're looking for a coffee and stuff like
Correct.
that. But
Go-kart.
yeah,
Just like a little go-kart. Just drive up there.
Let's do it.
What is the best item on the canteen menu? And I think we need an answer from both of you.
You've got to go canteen and Purruna Cafe because they...
True.
I know what you were going to say, but you go. Mr. Driver loves food. That's what I've learned.
yeah. Look, okay. So I'm actually really torn.
Okay.
Okay, so look, yeah, I don't think that's a fair question. Okay, I don't. I just think that's an unreasonable question. I think the question that you should have asked for is that if we say this particular time period during the course of the day, what's the best food item? Like, what's the best morning food, or what's the best lunch food? You know, because your decision-making process is really different. I love a muffin. God, I love a muffin. And so when we're talking about canteens and we're talking about Purruna Cafe, both of them do really good muffins. Like, I do love a vanilla slice, but we often don't see the vanilla slice, you know, available
Special
around the schools.
occasions.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the standout piece for me is still Fridays. It's still lunchtime. It's Purruna Cafe. It's the homemade sausage roll.
rolls. I knew he was going to
It's
say
the
it.
sausage roll at Purruna.
And they're
on
getting
a Friday.
bigger just
Yep.
for you. Fatter, longer.
Yep. And I have a standing order every Friday.
How many do you
me.
eat?
Only one.
I heard a rumour it was 2.
Yeah, I went through a period that it was
I heard
2.
about it.
But yeah, that was...
I'm going to have to start looking after your health.
Yeah, no, that was when I was training to be an elite triathlete, and now I'm...
And now you're not.
I'm tapering at the minute. I'm
God.
not in
Yep.
the in a
Yeah.
professional training zone.
I'm in, yeah, me too. I've given that up this year as well. I like cold rolls from the canteen. They're delicious, lovely. And I like a protein ball. That sounds very healthy, doesn't it?
Where do you stand though on the? Sorry, I don't mean to take over your job
No, that's fine.
as the podcast host. Like, do you two have a view on the difference between the hot lunch and the cold lunch? Because I reckon a really, really luxurious thing is something hot for lunch.
In
Like
winter.
If you have a pie, if you have a sausage roll, you know, if
In
there's like
winter.
a nachos or something, to me that just feels luxurious. You know, because maybe it was because I've been brought up on sandwiches and, you know,
Boring.
Rivitas and stuff.
But like,
Rivitas.
it needs to be winter to have something warm, like Miss Graves was saying. Because like when it's hot, like it is like been the past 2 days, it's nice to have something cold, like the sushi or like
Do you know what I do love?
yeah,
It's not from the canteen or the cafe.
yeah.
I love a crusket and peanut butter from the staff room.
What is a crusket?
I love a crusket. It's like what babies eat, but bigger. Like, you know, is that what they're called in South Australia?
Okay.
A crusket. Now that I've said it out loud, it seems weird.
Yeah, look, I am.
No.
I had a
And
conversation.
crunchy peanut butter.
I had a conversation with some of the house captains at Swimming Carnival and made a reference to a film, and they got stuck into me and said, "Couldn't you come up with something that was, you know, within the last 20 years or something?"
No.
Your crusket just feels like a 1980s
Yeah.
biscuit, not a 2024 biscuit.
Soz. But I love it. Love a crusket.
What is the best muffin at like the canteen?
Raspberry and white chocolate. Like there's no. Okay, sorry. You don't. She doesn't need to answer.
I don't eat muffins.
Oh, I love a muffin, and the raspberry/berry with white chocolate muffin. Just there's that, and that everybody else is
Do
competing
you know,
for second place.
a lot of people are talking about the savoury muffins being excellent. So I just find them too much muffin.
Yeah. You know, look. You know, you also use the word muffin, like you didn't introduce friand into the conversation. Like I think the friand is an entirely different category. I think you're motivated by something different when you go for a friand than actually when you go for a muffin. The lemon curd muffins up at Purruna
They are good.
are tops.
They are good.
But a berry and white chocolate muffin.
Yes, highlight of the week. I
Oh.
cannot read. Do you see a reality TV future at Scotch? So like Survivor Goose Island.
Oh my
The
gosh,
Apprentice,
I love this question
The
so
Block,
much.
MasterChef. You know.
That's yes to every single thing you've just said. Survivor Goose Island. That's great.
Yeah, we just don't want it to be a lone Goose Island. I don't.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, the Survivor Goose Island. That'd be
The
good.
Apprentice is good. Master Chef in, my gosh, that would be terrifying down there.
Yes.
Excellent.
I was sort of thinking about my classroom rules as well.
My classroom rules.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I reckon that's got some legs.
Yeah.
And what I have also liked has been the odd reality show that's popped up that's tried to pick somebody for a particular job. Like, there was one in the US where they tried to find a new singer for Queen, or someone to replace something. I wonder whether or not we could do something like that with one.
That's really cool.
There's been sporting ones and stuff as well.
I love it. That's a yes to all of those. Let's do it.
Have you considered adding a moat around the chapel? It could be used for rowing training or outdoor education prep and stuff.
Moat. I thought you were talking about to float little paper boats, but rowing seems like a bigger.
Yeah, how
Ditch.
castles have a moat and a drawbridge and everything.
Have you considered that?
Yeah, look, I haven't been thinking about the motor in the chapel, no.
But let's go there.
But
Let's
look-
consider anything.
But look, we're a place that's big on ideas, Why wouldn't we?
Why not?
Miss Grave, you are an English teacher and
Correct.
a drama teacher,
Indeed.
as well as a bit of a Swiftie fan, Did you go to the concert?
This is the saddest story ever. But no. I sacrificed the ticket and sent smallest grave to Melbourne. I know. I was an excellent mother. So with 4 daughters, that was a highly priced ticket. It was a VIP, 2 rows from the front, first night of the Melbourne tour, and Rosie Grave was there, and not me. I know. But thank you for asking.
How well do you think you know Shakespeare? And could you tell us the difference between Taylor Swift and Shakespeare quotes?
I could try. Oh dear. I've got sweaty hands.
You're still all over me like a wine-stained dress I can't wear anymore.
Do I have to say whether that was Taylor Swift or Shakespeare that wrote that?
Uh-huh. Tell us whether it's Taylor Swift
I'm
or
thinking it's
Shakespeare.
Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo!
The crowd goes mild.
Yeah. Woo!
That was all too well.
Yep.
Okay.
A classic.
Love looks not with the eyes, but the mind.
Shakespeare.
Yep. A summer's midnight dream.
That is
The rest of the world was black and white, but we were in screaming colour.
Shakespeare's Taylor Swift. It's Taylor Swift.
Yep, it's Taylor Swift.
Tay-tay.
Out of the woods.
Out of the woods. Are we out of the woods? Are we out of the wood? That one.
Yep. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
Shaky.
Romeo and Juliet.
Love it.
Do you miss the rogue who coaxed you into paradise and left you there?
I thought you were actually asking me a question. Do I miss the rogue? Yes, I miss him dreadfully. That surely is Shakespeare.
No, Taylor Swift.
Who is
Coney Island.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who is she talking about? I don't know.
I don't know.
Someone's going to bully me terribly for this, but yep. Apologies.
I'm probably gonna get bullied after this by some of my friends, but I'm not a Swiftie. So
Aren't you?
I do not
You're not in it.
I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I'm just not a Swiftie.
Yeah, fair. No
But
judgment.
yeah. So, Mr. Driver, you are quite a numbers and data person. Do you have any favourite numbers?
No, I love a round number.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a number that doesn't have lots of decimal places after it. It's nice and big and easy to see.
Yeah. Are you one of those people that has the thing about when the volume is at a certain level, it has to be a 5 or a 0 or an even number?
No. Am I? No, not anymore. In the old days, when you used to have to get up out of your chair and walk across to an amp and turn a dial, there'd always be places that I'd go to. But I actually don't even pay any attention now. I just press the button on the laptop until it gets loud enough, and then go from there.
Okay. What's your favourite type of graph?
So my favourite type of graph, I really love a well-formed column graph, but it can't have too many comparative columns. Like if you've got more than 2 in each of the bunches, I just reckon that it just fiddles with your eyes. Like there's something beautiful about a pie. It's elegant. You know, a line you can just look at and go, wow, look at a trend, and look, there's some peaks and troughs, and I get really excited. I'm a bit shaky and stuff now when I think about what a really good line graph looks like, but I think they can be overcomplicated. I do love a great column.
Okay.
Because the columns can be different colours and stuff as well, and you just don't get that opportunity, with different graphs.
Could you please explain the following graphs to us?
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Okay, so I'm looking at when you discover spelling errors or typos in an ML. So I'm just showing it to a camera here. So it's a big pie graph, and the title is "When you discover spelling errors or typos in an email before you send it." Tiny, tiny little wedge.
Yep.
When you've just sent it nearly everything else, that
Yes.
is the story of my life.
Yes.
The number of times I read things before I send them and go, yeah, that's good to go. I've got no errors in it, and that's just horrible. That's me.
Your knowledge of traffic laws.
My knowledge of traffic laws.
Yes.
It increases until the time you pass the test, and then bottoms out to autonomous ignorance. I actually quite like that. So I like a scale that goes superior, excellent, average, poor, and then autonomous ignorance. I like the way that drops off. Yes, no, that's Having spent a lot of time on the roads with lots of other people. So I'm just showing that to the camera. And finally, things to do in a zombie apocalypse. Again, okay, so you're actually aware of what sort of pie diagram that is? That's called an exploded pie diagram, because each of the wedges sort of see how the wedges sort of pop out a little bit out of the pie? Very technical type of pie diagram.
You need to get out more, Mr. Driver.
So what are things we're going to do in order of least to most significant? Seek refuge, yep. Get weapons, yep. Raid shops for food, yep. Make a video diary, yep. Get really excited and say, woohoo, it's actually happening. I'm a bit of a fan of your zombie movie as a genre as well. So part of me always watch them and wonder, what would I do if I was in a zombie apocalypse?
Okay. But wait, there's more.
Oh, good.
Oh.
The McDonald's curve.
I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. I do like the way that the McDonald's
very
pieces.
cool.
I've got a real thing for fast food. And so I'm the sort of guy that when I'm watching old school TV and the ad comes up for the new McChicken Maxi Bon burger or whatever it's going to be, I'm the guy who goes, yeah, I've got to go and give that a crack. And so I don't know why, but you strange little one-offs at fast food places, I'm up for them.
You're up.
Except for Red Rooster.
Do you have like a usual order, like from McDonald's, or like Macca's? Sorry.
Yeah, look, I do. It depends on, again, can we tighten these questions up a little bit? It's a time of day thing, right? Like if it's around a meal time, like if it's a lunchtime, dinner time thing, okay, a McAngus, usually with bacon works.
Said no one ever.
I avoid
Angus.
I avoid the chicken and always always get it upside. But I'm a big McFlurry fan. Yeah, and I think the classic Oreo just works a treat.
That's great.
I like a drive-through breakfast kind of flat white, a hash brown, and a sausage and egg McMuffin. I'm more of a sausage than the bacon. I accidentally drove through a McDonald's once and asked for a banana McMuffin. No, a banana and sausage McMuffin. I thought I was weird. They didn't give it to me, which was good. But yeah, I'm a road trip. You know you're on a road trip. That's the McDonald's drive-through. That's how you know you're on a road trip.
See, when you're on a road trip, for me, it's sausage rolls and vanilla slices.
Everything is sausage rolls with you.
I like it when you do a big one and you go through little towns you've never been to before,
me
and
too.
there's little random bakeries there, and to be able to have sausage rolls from different places.
It's like
I'm always up for that.
Canalpin pies, waffles and whatever it is on the way to Melbourne. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the roller coaster thing at Keith in the playground. That's really good.
And having done the Sydney to
Yes.
Adelaide trip more than a few times over the past 12 months or so, Loxton, best pie. Narandera, best vanilla slice.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is all the questions that I have for you. Thank you so much.
You've been amazing. You've been so good. Well done.
It's been great fun, thank you.
Love number 20.
Yay. Woo!